Let's start with the Iron Bowl. That was the last game that I watched last night. That was very entertaining television to watch.
Mhm.
Alabama, they survive another road Iron Bowl. They secured another trip to Atlanta in December. Last time they were here, at Auburn, it was the Gravedigger call to Isaiah Bond that secured the win for them last night. Different Isaiah, but same end result. Isaiah
Mhm.
Horton, he completed a hat trick with 3 catches for the whole. He had 3 catches for the whole night, but all 3 of them were touchdowns.
Mm.
I think he only had 35 yards or something like that. But during a night where the pass game was looking a little iffy, announcers were talking about something wrong with Ty Simpson's back. They had him connected to some machine or whatever else. His passing ability looked a little iffy, but he was able to hit Horton, when it mattered and when it was needed. That last one, like on that 4th and 2, Aaron, you and I were talking about it while watching it at my place, but we were talking about it, should they go for it or what would you do?
Mhm.
Um, what would you do in that position? 4th and 2 on the Auburn, on the Auburn, like what, 3, 4, 5, something like that.
Yeah.
What do you do in that situation?
Yeah, tie ball game, that is a super gutsy call, wanting to, go for the touchdown to get the 7-point lead instead of 3. Me personally, it's why I'm not a coach, why I'm not out there. I would have been a little bit more conservative and kicked the field goal, but it worked out for Kalen DeBoer and his team anyway, you know?
Yeah, exactly. This is why we're not head coaches. I guess I guess they would have won the game anyway.
Mhm.
But if it hadn't had worked, this is what I thought about afterwards. It's like if it didn't work, Auburn is starting from their own. I'm looking at the highlight now from their own 6. So it's
Mhm.
like it's not the worst thing in the world, especially Auburn's offense was a little sputtering at times. So let's actually take a look at it. I want to hear your thoughts. I
Mhm.
want to hear your thoughts as to what they were able to do well on that one,
Yep.
and we'll go from there. So we have this is the 4th and 2 play. It does end up with Isaiah Horton. I think he's number 1 outside on the left here. So, Aaron, I ask you this all the time. What are you seeing from both sides? Yeah, give me your thoughts.
Goal line, red zone defense. A lot of times you're going to see, cover 0 from defenses. So that means everybody's got a man. It's 1-on-1. Um, Alabama, I think before this play, to give you context behind what they were doing the whole game, right? They were giving you a lot of motion to offset this type of formation, or you're seeing, Ty Simpson give some misdirection and then run. Like he uses his legs a lot this game to get first downs and make things happen. So I mean, honestly, I give credit to Auburn's defense because they were able to stay in the game with all of that going on. Hindsight's 2020, but usually when I see a bunch formation at the goal line, I'm thinking teams are going to switch. So if you run the play, um, Horton's able to get open because you see that little cross in between traffic and all that mesh, and
Mm-hmm.
he's right there where you pause it at. He has leverage to be able to beat whoever's guarding him 1-on-1 if somebody is guarding him 1-on-1. Looks like they kind of converge into a zone a little bit, and boom, he's open right there. Ty squeezes it into the zone, or if it is zone, and they score. He gets his 3rd touchdown of the game.
Here's another look at it.
Hmm.
See
Again,
what.
crossing routes. Looks like somebody is tagged to him 1-on-1, but he beats him in the crossing him in traffic. That's the thing. Receivers know where they're going. DBs don't know where they're going. So
Mm-hmm.
it's so tough playing, defensive back like that.
It was a tighter window than I initially thought, but shout out to
Mhm.
Ty Simpson for able to find that zone like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
think it was,
because I don't.
safety over the top, trying to cover ground, but
Is there
he
anything Auburn
couldn't.
could have done better here?
Um, it is tough to say. If anything, maybe they prepare for the crossing routes and have somebody dedicated to the inside route, somebody dedicated to the outside route, instead of sticking with your man, switching and following.
Mm,
But like I said, hindsight 2020, they saw so many different types of plays out of these type of formations all night.
mm. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Got to commit to something. So, during a portion of the game that Auburn was finding, they were finding their footing on offense later in the second half with Ashton Daniels as quarterback. Gwinnett legend, by the way. Alabama was able to milk, almost 8 minutes off the clock with that drive that ended with the 4th and 2. Really masterful play calling there by Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb.
Mm-hmm.
Time of possession wise, Alabama for the whole game, Alabama had the ball 9 more minutes than Auburn, which in a close game like that, that's one of the differences that you needed to secure that win on the road. Aaron, in your opinion, what did Alabama do well to win this game?
Yeah. First things first, they made Ashton Daniels uncomfortable as possible, right? Auburn had nothing going right for them on offense up until, the middle of the second quarter. And, even then it felt like, it was pulling teeth for them to try to get positive yards on offense. Announcers, I think they even mentioned early in the game that Auburn had more penalty yards than offensive yards at some point early in the game. So
Yeah.
pretty ugly starting out. Offensively, the passing was not great for Alabama, right? But Jam Miller and Daniel Hill, they were starting to look like some real Alabama running backs. Shout outs to that offensive line for giving them the opportunity. They ended the game with I think 4.2 yards per carry. So, they had more rush yards than pass yards. I'm not sure if we've seen that at all this year from this Alabama team.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. I was, wrong on my pick. I mentioned that earlier, but clearly it was a lot closer than people expected. If Auburn had a couple of bounce balls go the right way, maybe Auburn could have secured the upset. The stats said that they only had 2 turnovers, 1 interception, 1 fumble, but they had like 4 fumbles on that last drive. So that easily could have been a lot higher. And they could have definitely been a lot cleaner with the ball. Auburn defense was great, in my opinion. They dialed up a lot of pressure on Ty Simpson. They got 4 sacks, which matched a season high for how much Alabama has allowed. They've allowed 4 sacks a few times throughout the season, but I think they've won each and every one of those. I don't even think Oklahoma was able to get 4. But that offense was pretty poor during most parts of the game, like you just mentioned, Aaron. Surprised we didn't see Cam Coleman more. I don't know if he was hurt. He was limping on that last one, but he did fumble the ball, at the end. So that could be a reason why we didn't see him. I don't know what his ball security was looking like at practice this week. But in any case, Alabama, they win another Iron Bowl. They earned a berth to the SEC championship against Georgia next week. And Auburn ends their season not bowl eligible and will probably look to make DJ Durkin the next head coach at Auburn.
Yeah. Another thing that, we didn't really mention, we didn't see much of Ryan Williams at all.
Yeah,
it was
true.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Both teams saving their star running wide receivers. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where's Cam Coleman transferring to next season?
Is that on the table? Maybe he likes DJ Durkin so much that he doesn't leave.